video sent you.
Oh, the gorilla thing?
The gorilla thing.
Oh, yeah. It's so funny. So if you're going to fall in an exhibit with a great ape, it's good. It should be a gorilla because they're big babies. So he was probably as terrified as she was, but it was interesting to watch.
This is a zoo employee that got stuck in the cage with the gorilla, or the.
And that's always a nightmare, yeah. Because what happens is you're supposed to make sure the animals are cleared out, but you can imagine, like, it's so easy to accidentally think all the animals are inside when you go out to the close. So you bring them inside into their holding areas, whether it's a tiger or primates or big carnivores, and then you go and clean or do whatever you're doing, put food out, and then you let them back out. You do that every single morning. Sometimes you do it twice a day, maybe with the great apes. And so the chances of being stuck out there with an animal is higher than you think. And this woman was just so lucky. You know, he didn't really. I think it was a silverback, and he looked like he was as alarmed as she was. But he also wants to look tough, right?
What's your zoo experience?
What's that?
Where do you get your zoo experience?
I was born in a zoo.
That's nice.
I worked as a zookeeper for many years. And then
my dad was too. So, like, my dad was too. So I actually got a little zoo experience off of him. And what I know about great apes, well, they're omnivores, and they're like chance opportunists when they come to that. But if they actually get a hold of some meat, they definitely will devastatingly try to like fuck it up. I remember seeing a raccoon jump into like a bonobo pen, and they just like fucking rip that thing apart.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But when it comes to the keepers, the great apes might bite someone. Like I witnessed, I know at one facility I worked at, they got behind the scenes, which is not that uncommon either, and they bit a keeper. But the thing with great apes is actually attacking you. Like a tiger is going to kill you. You're right. The opportunistic omnivore is different than a strict carnivore like a tiger, and that's why I say if it's a gorilla, you might very likely would go unscathed. If it's a chimp or a bonobo or even an orangutan, you're more likely to get in a encounter. And I worked with everything because I started as a general relief keeper. When your dad was a keeper, he probably still had general relief keepers that rotated throughout.
Well, he started with small animals, and then he did like the aquarium because of the low staff. So he did like penguins and stuff like that, and I got to feed the penguins. You know what I'm saying? Like there was like to bring your, child to work days and stuff like that, and I got to pet cheetahs and stuff like that, which are like big ass house cats. Grew to understand. I have a foundational, like, fundamental understanding of like wild animals versus domestic, right? And how skittish they are. So there's like the skittish nature because, like, of course, we're big, fucking intelligent beings and stuff like that, and they'll only try you in an opportunistic manner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when I stopped working, and I don't want to belabor the issue, but I worked in institutions that were not all EZA, so I could go in. For example, I used to be an exotic animal trainer for film and in places where they had lesser restrictions.
Dream job.
And yeah, it was fun. But I'll tell you, the penguins, when I worked at the New England Aquarium in Boston and dealt with penguins every day, when they bite, they twist their beaks.
They twist, yeah. They got that turn, they don't know, too, yeah. It's painful. It's fucking gripping because they'll take a little extra from you. And, you just got to kind of watch those guys. Because penguins are more mischievous than a lot of people think. So, yeah. Absolutely, brother. Well, good to see you, fellow animal brother.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I haven't done it in 10 years, but some things haven't changed. So.
Well, yeah. As an arborist, I used to have access to some of the like leaf cutting and stuff like that, and actually did some grounding for like the big animals and stuff like that, like rhinoceri, giraffes and shit like that. You know, the way that they feed is very different, and they have certain fiber nutritious needs. I was privileged to cut for.
Yeah, I would say that the horticulturists probably know more about animal nutrition than the
Absolutely. Right? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know it. That's my field. Thank you for your recognition, because a lot of people don't even know that. Appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. I tried to friend you, but it's not letting me connect.
Well, don't worry about it later. We'll see each other later, of course. I'll add you, because it lets me, because I'm a Night King, and I am a king on this app. Just add me whenever.
Well, Kendo, you should just buy Dr. Jordan's books and just read them.
I don't need to. I have actual, like my dad actually wrote a book and said he's a doctor, okay? And thank you, but no thanks.
Wow, Dr. Jordan, you really shit in your face, didn't he?
Well, I mean, what? Dr. Jordan is cool.
He just shot in your face. You know?
No.
Like a fucking bonobo in his hand.
No, he
slinging it at you. Yeah.
He understands.
You hear that? Dr. Jordan.
One of the key elements is that there aren't, like, I was a zookeeper well before I moved up the ranks, and unfortunately today, a lot of curators are appointed who may have certain credentials but don't have the hands-on experience, and that's the way that
they're a real piece of shit.
The world has changed.
No,
disrespect that, man.
I got a cousin that does
doctor. Yeah,
that's expert.
Animals. He was a fucking bear trainer.
Yeah.
He was a bear trainer, for God's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Jordan used to train bears.
It's so cool that everybody is just.
I used to eat bears. How you doing?
Everybody has all this zoo experience.
Was the bear named Eva?
I've been a frequenter of the Bronx Zoo for many, many years. So
the Bronx Zoo's fucking suck. It's one of the worst.
I know it was.
It's one of the fucking. I wouldn't tell everybody that. You know that, right?
Dr. Jordan, have you ever been to the Singapore Zoo?
It was more like cultural. No, not cultural. Like
the night safari.
Family made it a thing.
But I know the guy who's the director there.
Bro, it's wild as shit when you see like the what are they? The howler monkeys, and they're just like standing right there, and like everything's built in a way that there's no cage. There's no like what do they call it at the zoo?
Kind of a mullet or a cageless enclosure, right?
Yeah, it's completely like they look like they're just right there in front of you, and you're like, "Fuck, I can reach out, touch these things."
My dad was a proponent of natural settings, so they're like that free range that you're talking about. Yeah. Like there's certain animals that you're supposed to have them have more free space and stuff like that. Like the red panda, right? A lot of them died. During preservation, people didn't understand what type of animal that they were because of their classification.
Right. Yeah, the German zoo. So there's a great. Your dad may know this book, but there's a book about the Hagenbeck Zoo. Henry Hyder was like a zoo director who kind of was kind of a pioneer in the cageless.
The Oregon's house. With the house, which was their real name, but
Yeah, but then also the University of Michigan used to have a zoo and a landscape architecture program that was designed for future zoo architects. And unfortunately, I mean, it's such an interesting field, but there aren't that many zoo architecture firms because some institutions do things in-house, some contract with some of the few that are out there. So, there's not a huge market for it, but it's a really interesting field because it incorporates your work as in horticulture with, animal well-being, enrichment, behavioral enrichment, and all those factors that influence the well-being of animals.
Absolutely. This is why we're big, because most of those come from the University of Wisconsin, which they actually contract through, because these universities share information. One of the biggest information hubs come from the University of Wisconsin, and the preservation of the bald eagle, because the UP. Was that?
I said, did you say eagle?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things. Even though I hate birds and shit like that, our bald eagle study passes everybody in the nation and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got a friend who does environmental work and looks for eagles' nests.
Yep.
It's rated.
So I do forestry.
It's ranked as the second dumbest animal.
Yeah, and that's cool, but it's our
Owls
national
are number one.
So suck my dick. Even though,
Eagles fly.
I do love eagles. Well, owls are one of my favorite birds. Barn owls, horned owls, all of them.
They measure the intellect of an animal is the ability.
Mm-hmm.
How easy it is, it's a train.
But we can't keep the crows off the owls because there's so many crows.
Yesterday,
Ravens are behind bonobos.
I don't know if you guys.
No, they're not.
Yeah, I can hear you, Dr. Jordan.
That's not a study.
Yesterday,
You don't know what you're talking about.
Yesterday, I wrote a brief.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I wrote a brief tribute to Ted Turner because he was so influential in revitalizing the prairie landscape. He was the largest owner of bison in North America, private owner of bison in North America, and he's truly influential in repatriating bison through reintroduction. And he
also did Grey Wolf reintroduction.
Yeah, they reintroduced the ferrets too.
Yeah, the Blackfoot ferrets.
Yeah, and then the prairie dogs. They come up, they sharpen their hind nails, and then they grab the prairie dog in the neck, and then they fucking take their hind nails and they run them up and down the stomach belly of the prairie dog, and then they eat it. Yeah, but see, the thing is, the Blackfoot ferret, which could be a domestic animal, has so much elusive nature. So when I go to these reses and stuff like that on the flatlands, I'm talking to my native brothers to actually help preservation.
Yeah, that's because you said you did forestry management, right?
Yeah, I did. I do. Did.
That's badass, bro.
Yeah, I'm a bad motherfucker off this app. I'm a bad motherfucker. I'm a wild animal expert. And hopefully I can get back to it. Once I situate my family needs the right way, I will be back into my territory. I have a good, close connection with the DNR. And a lot of different indigenous tribes that actually help with the preservation and extinction prevention.
I would imagine the indigenous cultures would be particularly helpful to extinction preservation.
Absolutely. Without giving too much information away.
Yeah, of course.
There's been donation drives and actual like festivals that's been held to actually get people to rally. So some of these animals that we as humans have did logging and all that kind of stuff for our own contractual societal needs. It's kind of disgusting in a way that we forget about the environment because of our commercialization industry and stuff like that, and these big companies forget about like natural settings a lot of times until they build the shit and then they have a rodent infestation. You know what I'm saying?
Excuse me.
You're good.
Yeah, no, what you mean?
Yep. With that shit. No,
Alright, I'll pass it.
Hey, Marshall, bro, like, let me find out you into shit like that, bro. I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna pull up on you, bro, one time, bro. It ain't even gonna be like on no other shit, bro. We just gonna hang out, bro, because
you are always welcome to South.
You already know, bro. I fuck with you, bro, the long way, bro.
Yeah, dude. You are always welcome down in South Texas.
When I come to San Antonio and all that shit,
Yeah,
I got you. I'll make time for that too.
Absolutely.
I make my way around this country, bro. I'm old Brad to visit too. You know, hey, bro. Look, y'all my brothers over here, bro. We clubhouse OGs in this bitch. Nah, it's good to be able to talk about this because I really don't get a chance to talk about this with everybody, bro.
Yeah, dude. Like I said, I got a friend. He does bald eagle work, and he does bat monitoring work.
Bro, I hate bats. Bro, bats, bro. Because my dad did bats, and he's just not scared of them, bro. He's just not scared. He just think they like flies. And I'm like, bro, how can you just stand with like an erratic creature like that? They like fly a little rest.
So, like, they are specifically on environmental impact for like windmills, specifically in Texas. Like Rick Perry, as big of a gas state as Texas is, Rick Perry invested into windmills in his governorship and was able to provide 30% of Texas's power in the windy months through the wind energy. And so they do these like wildlife surveys, and like one of the things they survey for are bats. And apparently, like, bats have these like particular mating calls. They talk to each other. Like, they signal when they're about to hunt. They signal when apparently, like, there's a noise for when a bat's zeroed in on its prey, and then a particular noise the bat makes when it's caught its prey. And so they do that kind of shit. They fucking love it, man. They love wildlife conservation.
Yeah, because they come from them like they have a migration path, just like birds and shit like migratory. That. But only they do they're migratory, and if it's like a lot of bugs, like it's good that they come through and like fucking swoosh.
Do you think they make us? Do you think they make a certain sound when they hit the fan blades?
They probably do, but that's part of the reason for the wildlife survey. Like they're determining whether it's a bat corridor or not. If it's a bat corridor, like an eagle corridor, they don't mess with it. But if it's like clean of those animals and other endangered species that they watch out for, then they can build a windmill. Like, I appreciate conservation because the family's got some land. It's not a ton of land, but it's enough to, get lost in for an hour or so. And, taking care of those animals, looking at how they're working, that's always kind of
Well, my family got land enough to build each of you 16 houses in this room. Like,
damn, bro.
Yeah. So, I'm different. I'm actually different. I don't flex too much, but when I do, it's Dos Equis.
Cheers coming from means is not a bad thing.
I hope one day I can foster a community and rebuild this nation the way it's supposed to be. As long as the government abides by the treaties that they promise my people, will be good. If not,
There's going to be some serious questions.
well, it's serious questions right now, and I don't want to pose that on the internet, but I just
that water rights case, one before the court, was particularly significant for Native Americans.
Absolutely. And it's like, hold up, because you're taking away the health rights of the people. There's a lot of things in question when it comes to rural area cultures and stuff like that. That doesn't have anything to do with big city cultures, because I think we've created too much of a political vacuum when it comes to big cities, that we're just so focused on that instead of the wide spans that we have in America. We got so much. There's so much to deal with. It's a shame that we haven't cultivated enough to maintain and get us off the recession line.
Absolutely.
That's true American right there. That's my true American word. I want us all to be able to coexist. But the fact that we can't, and the fact that we have to go to these certain cities, and that the financial and economic distribution couldn't be broader and better, it's a problem. It's a problem.
Yeah, dude, urban v. rural has been a continuous problem in our country for 250 years. There's always been that tension between the rural and the city areas. And maybe it's more pronounced today than it has been historically, but that's a long-standing kind of grudge between people who live in major cities and people who live in the country.
Yeah, I think we can rectify that by just spreading the fuck out. Why the fuck we gotta be all fucking cuddled up in the same cities?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Spread out, dude.
Spread that shit the fuck out. You billionaires been having y'all choice fights in certain major cities, and I think we should just leave that to y'all. But for the rest of us, we really could build somewhere else. What the fuck is the wrong? What is the problem? We really shouldn't be having these problems. With how big we are, too big to fail. Real shit. America first shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all don't agree with that fighting. Anyway, cause I done said too much. We back in the fucking orange. I've been looking at the down, sir. It's fluctuating and stuff like that. But it look like we getting